A piece of meat moving on its own. This incident is completely real and went viral very quickly on the internet. Many people, after watching this video, said it was so terrifying that they decided to become vegetarians from then on. But let's find out the real reason why this happens. Actually, the nerves of very fresh beef remain active for a long time. Even though the animal's central nervous system is dead, the nerve endings and muscles remain active for some time, and when salt is sprinkled on it, the sodium icons in the salt stimulate the nerves. As a result, the piece of meat moves in such a way that it seems alive. Interestingly, this is actually a sign of good quality fresh meat. However, many people might think it's part of some necromancy or a terrifying recipe. Truth be told, this incident shows us how strange and unbelievable nature can be. And not just this, in today's video, we will discuss more such astonishing incidents that you might have considered ghostly without a scientific explanation. So, let's begin. Tell me, what are these? This is basically a sanctuary in Florida. Due to the drying up of the canal in this sanctuary, catfish meet crocodiles. Because of the water drying up, they have to live together like this. But interestingly, there is no shortage of food for the crocodiles here. May 30, 2024, Beijing City. It was a stormy and rainy day. A group of workers were cleaning the huge premises of the CCTV camera headquarters. But the situation became much more dangerous than the work they were doing. The storm was so strong that trees were falling in various parts of the city. And amidst this stormy weather, the workers were hanging on top of the building, and their ropes were swaying so much that it seemed they could fall down at any moment. Those who were nearby screamed in fear upon seeing this scene. But miraculously, everyone managed to come down safely. The front of a high-speed train is stained with blood. Is this a scene from a ghost movie? No, it's real. This happens when the train travels at high speed. The train travels so fast that birds on the tracks often cannot avoid it. They collide with the train, and as a result, blood stains appear on the train. Sadly, this incident has deeply concerned environmentalists. Usually, wild birds are the victims of these accidents. In fact, there is no real solution to this problem. We have to wait until the birds themselves learn that these tracks are not safe for them. Imagine you are filling your car with gas at a gas station, everything seems normal, but suddenly a huge fuel tank starts rising from under the ground. It seems like a monster is rising from the earth. This is not due to an earthquake or thunder. There is a fun scientific reason behind this. These tanks are usually buried deep underground. They are so heavy that they can never rise above the ground. But when floodwater increases the underground water level, the water pressure pushes the upper layer of soil away. As a result, the huge tank under the ground starts floating on the water. This is as terrifying as it is unbelievable. When you pour water into a hot pan, it usually turns into steam quickly. But in some cases, you will see the water dancing on the hot surface instead of turning into steam. This is actually the Leidenfrost effect. This happens when the surface temperature is much higher than the boiling point of water. In this condition, a layer of vapor forms under the water droplets. This layer keeps the water droplets floating on the surface. As a result, the water moves as if it's participating in a dance performance. This seems very strange and magical. This is a beautiful example of how science can explain the events around us. A white cloud was slowly floating over a street in Pyeongchang City, South Korea. Many thought it was fog, but it was actually leaked petroleum gas. The gas cloud spread across the entire street, and the consequence was terrifying. Fire spread across the entire street, and cars and buildings started burning. Those who were inside the cars did not even go out to see the situation out of fear. They survived because of this caution. It took firefighters more than 3 hours to bring this under control. 14 buildings were damaged in this incident, 25 people were evacuated, and 5 were injured, 2 of whom were in critical condition. Although gas leaks are common, such a devastating consequence is rare. Lightning directly strikes the huge blades of a turbine used for electricity generation. The blades catch fire instantly due to this lightning strike. Suddenly, a huge black smoke ring appears in the sky of a city. It was slowly floating, looking like smoke blown by a giant. But this incident has been explained. It was actually smoke coming out of a chimney. The smoke formed a ring shape because it was suddenly emitted from the chimney. Since the wind was completely still that day, the smoke ring was seen floating in the same place in the sky. What can be the relationship between a frog and a firefly? Although it sounds surprising, it's completely real. Suddenly, a frog swallows a firefly, but interestingly, the firefly was still glowing. Light was coming out of the frog's throat. The question is, was the firefly signaling something, or was it completely normal? However, another interesting fact is that most fireflies have chemicals in their bodies that are poisonous to most predators, but the frog was completely fine afterward. A bear named El was trapped in a small cage for 20 years. It had become accustomed to pacing in a small space for so long. When it was released into a huge sanctuary, it continued to pace in that small circle. This was mainly due to its mental trauma. So, the workers blocked its path with a stone to stop it from pacing. Gradually, the bear started to change its habits. And this incident teaches us that wild animals should be kept in nature. They are children of nature, and their happiness lies in nature.